Our dear viewers, and welcome to a new edition of our program Africa Today. Today we are going to talk about Egypt's ambitious strategy to eliminate the hepatitis C virus. And we'll start with this report where we are going to talk about the spokesperson of the presidency, Ahmed Fahmy, who said in a statement that Egypt's health initiatives provided 145 million medical services to 90 million citizens across the country. The statement came during a meeting of President Abdel Fattah Sisi with the relevant government officials to follow up on projects of the country's universal health insurance system. For his part, Minister of Health and Population Khalid Abdel Ghaffar said Egypt looks forward to soon being officially recognized and accredited for regional and global health organization as the first country to eliminate hepatitis C.
Minister of Health and Population Khalid Abdel Ghaffar said that Egypt looks forward to soon being officially recognized and accredited by regional and global health organizations as the first country to eliminate hepatitis C. According to a statement by the Health Ministry, Abdel Ghaffar's remarks came during his televised speech at the World Health Organization, the WHO meeting in Geneva celebrating World Hepatitis Day. In July 2020, the Health Ministry announced that Egypt was the first country to successfully eradicate hepatitis C, with several Egyptian landmarks lit up in green to celebrate the achievement. Abdel Ghaffar also reaffirmed Egypt's commitment to treat 1 million African hepatitis C patients and to expand efforts to eliminate viral hepatitis C in Africa as part of the 100 Million Health Initiative extended goals. Launched in October 2018, the initiative was tasked with eradicating hepatitis and non-communicable diseases among Egyptians. The initiative included mass screenings of all adult citizens for early detection of various diseases and viruses. The minister also highlighted Egypt's role in eradicating hepatitis C in 2022 at the global level, explaining that Egypt participated in designing the first set of global guidelines for combating virus hepatitis C in 2021. Abdel Ghaffar said that Egypt will combine its efforts with the international community to eliminate viral hepatitis C by the year 2030, in line with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals and WHO objectives.
To shed light on the issue, we are very much delighted to be joined over the phone by Dr. Magdy Adly, Senior Manager in Quality Control. Dr. Adly, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me today in Africa Today.
Thank you so much for being with us. Dr. Adly, what is the current prevalence of hepatitis C in Egypt, and how has the country actually managed to significantly reduce its prevalence in the recent years to eliminate the virus?
Okay, at the beginning, if we are talking as internationally, hepatitis C infection or infected more than 300 million citizens all over the world yearly or annually. And WHO ensure that we can avoid 4.5 million dead cases because of hepatitis C yearly up to 2030 if we collaborate and make cooperation as the international community for applying a capacitor system for early diagnosis and treatment of hepatitis C all over the world. And in fact, an example for struggling and challenging that big healthy problem. And if we are talking about Egyptian experiments, in fact, in October 2018, as a directive order from His Excellency, Mr. President, through the initiative of 100 million health initiative, Minister of Health, in fact, make a good job through made a scanning for more than 90 million citizens or more, and treat more than 4 million infected cases with different degrees of hepatitis C and imported medication in the beginning from different countries. Then it transfers the technology of manufacturing of these medications, and the cost of early diagnosis of hepatitis C and the treatment of following up was more than 4 billion Egyptian pounds, 2.5 for scanning and 1.5 for treatment. And in fact, this initiative contributed and saving or consuming a lot of money. More than 64 billion Egyptian pounds was consumed for treatment of side effects of hepatitis C yearly. So as an economy, it was very successful initiative.
Yes.
And Egypt do a good job for elimination of hepatitis C and having an ambitious strategy to eliminate hepatitis C from Egypt. And Egypt celebrates to last few days that Egypt are free or closely free from hepatitis C. Although Egypt was recorded as a first country infected with hepatitis C, as WHO said, and even WHO evaluate that step and invite other countries, mainly African countries, to follow up or to follow the Egyptian experiment and transfer that experiment to these countries for treatment and avoiding more infection of hepatitis C.
Yes.
Also, Egypt assist and make a coordination with African Union for transferring these experiments to our dear African countries through holding medical conferences like African Health Action 1 and Africa Health Action 2, and providing any African countries with expertise and even medication of hepatitis C or any pandemic disease like what happened with COVID-19 when Egypt supply or providing African countries with a vaccine.
Yeah.
So Egypt, in fact, stands up side by side with our brothers of African countries for these issues, maybe pandemic disease like hepatitis C and something like that.
Yes, indeed. Sir, yes.
Okay.
From your point of view, how successful has Egypt been in its own efforts to combat hepatitis C, and what lesson actually can other African countries learn from our own experience here in Egypt?
As I told you, the experiment of Egyptian state was a very great experiment for elimination of hepatitis C. But in fact, Egypt insists for elimination of that harmful disease which cost the countries a lot of money because of the economy or even public health of population. So to take it as a serious problem, this is first rule for elimination of hepatitis C. And at the same time, sometimes we have problems of or financial problems for providing medication. So we invite from your TV show
Yes.
international stakeholders and partners and even international organization which concerning with public health to assist and collaborate for increasing the budget of health which direct to developed and poor countries and refugees.
Yeah.
And as everyone here nowadays about the number of African refugees are ascending day by day because of wars in in many places, like in Sudan and many other countries.
Yes.
So, as a rule of international community engagement and awareness campaigns, playing is in elimination of hepatitis.
Yes.
So, Egypt usually invites and calls these organizations to put Africa under a microscope or under focusing and put the health problems or issues of Africa under focusing, like that hepatitis C problems, like other infected diseases like malaria, like other disease. So Africa needs a lot from the developed countries and the international international community as a financing and providing with a medication even for poor countries for free or as a donation.
Yes, Dr. Magdy Adly, Senior Manager in Quality Control. Thank you so much, sir, for your precious input and for being our guest for today. And moving on, where Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry reaffirmed Egypt's keenness to mediate between the two warring Sudanese parties. This came during the first ministerial level mechanism meeting of Sudan neighbors that was hosted by Chad in the capital of Jamena. Since the outbreak of the conflict in Sudan in mid-April, Egypt has been coordinating with the UN and international relief organizations to ensure the provision of the necessary aid to Sudanese refugees, as well as millions of citizens facing a humanitarian catastrophe inside the country.
Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry stressed that Sudan's neighbors need to speak in a unified voice to convince the two parties in the armed conflict in that country to end hostilities. Shoukry's statement came during the first ministerial level mechanism meeting of Sudan's neighbors that was hosted by Chad in its capital on Monday and attended by ministers from Libya, Central Africa, South Sudan, Ethiopia, and Eritrea. The ministerial level mechanism, which aims to find a comprehensive solution to end the armed conflict in Sudan, was formed at the Sudan Neighboring Countries Summit that was hosted by Egypt on the 13th of July. In his speech, the foreign minister underscored the dire situation faced by millions of civilians of Sudan. He cautioned against the complete uncertainty which characterizes the current political process in the country. Shoukry also stressed that the Sudanese people were never a party to the start of this war and they are all looking to the initiative of their neighbors to end it. Shoukry added that it is necessary to ensure that aid reaches those in need, both inside and outside Sudan, in timely manner. He added that Sudan's neighbors should aid Sudan while respecting the country's sovereignty and without imposing solutions or conditions on any one party. Since the outbreak of the conflict in Sudan in mid-April, Egypt has been coordinating with the United Nations and international relief organizations to ensure the provision of the necessary aid to Sudanese refugees as well as millions of citizens facing humanitarian catastrophe inside the country. Egypt has received more than 200,000 out of an estimated total of 750,000 Sudanese who fled Sudan to neighboring countries.
Minister of Housing Asmi Ghazar inspected the ongoing progress of the Julius Nyerere hydroelectric power project on the Rufiji River in Tanzania. El Ghazar emphasized that Egypt places great importance on the massive project, which embodies the distinguished relations between Egypt and Tanzania.
The Ministry of Housing announced that Minister Asim El Ghazar inspected the ongoing progress of the Julius Nyerere hydroelectric power project on the Rufiji River in Tanzania, which is being built by an Egyptian consortium. Al-Ghazar emphasized that Egypt places great importance on the massive project, which embodies the distinguished relations between both countries. He added that President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi is regularly monitoring its progress. The minister explained that this visit demonstrates Egypt's commitment to completing the project to contribute to the development of Tanzania. He continued that the project also underscores the capabilities of Egyptian companies in executing large-scale projects in Africa. Al-Ghazdar, along with his delegation, toured the various components of the project and received a detailed explanation of the project's progress. Construction on the main dam has reached 100% completion, as have the 3 water tunnels to turbine building. Meanwhile, the hydroelectric power station is 77% complete, the power connection station is 99%, and the 4 subsidiary dams for the reservoir are 95% complete. The concrete bridge on the Refugee River is 100% complete, and the surrounding roads are 60% complete. The main dam gates have been successfully operated according to the Ministry of Housing. Currently, the reservoir, which will have a capacity of 34 billion cubic meters when completed, has been filled with 14 billion cubic meters of water, just over the minimum operating level required for the dam's turbines. The dam will also control floods, while the reservoir will ensure the availability of water year-round for agricultural purposes and preserve the surrounding wildlife in one of Africa's and the world's largest forests.
Well, with that, our dear viewers, we come to the end of this edition of our program, Africa Today. Till next week, I'm Rabia signing off.